that?
I also noticed in his face.
So why did he just...
You know, the body's...
A very good evening to you. Welcome to State of the Race. This Wednesday, we're looking at political events that have taken place since yesterday. And a lot has happened. And there's a lot of conversation, especially on social media, on the latest pronouncements by the IEBC. So in studio, I have Ambrose Weda. He's a lawyer with a very good political mind as well. Right next to him, we have Odoyo Owidi, who's a political analyst as well. We're expecting Joy Brenda Mdivo, who's a political analyst as well, in studio. She should be here any minute from now. But gentlemen, yesterday we had a conversation about some of the announcements that the IEBC was making. So today, the IEBC chair, Wafula Chebukati, has made it clear on periodic announcements. Apparently, they have scrapped the periodic announcements of presidential election results at the Bomas of Kenya. That is the National Tallying Center. So in other words, every time we've had elections, there has been some numbers scrolling, you know, on the presidential candidates and the numbers they so far have garnered. Weda, what are your thoughts about that?
I think going by the history and by president and the mood in the country, they will need to convince the country that that is a better option, that is good. Otherwise, stories are going to be spinned. I can see NASA spinning a very, very cavalier story of why IEBC, which is generally Jubilee, has now arranged how they are going to rig and announce themselves. So what I'm saying is IEBC then must give a very good, convincing reason. Why? Because the last election, the results were streaming in. The other election also, the 2007 one, the results were streaming in. So coming up with a new way of doing it requires very good reason. But my worry about it is going to leave a lacuna.
Okay.
And when there is a gap, that is when the NASA Cloud Tallying Center, the one which is in Germany and Uganda and Tanzania and all over, they may fill in the gap with lies and propaganda and projo. And you see, in the absence of information...
Why just NASA? Isn't Jubilee also concerned about the fact that, I mean, you're not going to have...
No, the Jubilee is going to have a tallying center, but they're not going to announce their results. We are not going to say now, we are 1 million, we are 2 million. But I see that gap. NASA is going to say now we are, President Uhuru is 1 million, us we are 2 million. President Uhuru is 2 million, us we are 7 million.
Okay, so apart from NASA being worried, is Jubilee worried about this?
So what my concerns I'm expressing, we are saying that gap presents a dangerous lacuna that can be filled by people bringing in figures which may or may not be accurate. And then in the absence of any information, people may believe that. So when they believe and NASA has gone round or Jubilee has gone round and said, we are 8 million, NASA is 2 million. NASA is also saying they are 9.8 million. Just 200 short of 10 million strong, and Jubilee 6. Then we have two figures. Then when now they come to announce the obvious, as it's going to be, they say, President Uhuru has won round 170 plus 1. You'll see already in the streets. Because so that is why they need to give a very good reason or to reconsider. That
you think they should reconsider? Okay, come in.
Linda, you know, it is the transparency that will keep us away from the allegations the type Ambrose Weda is making. If we have transparency, because keeping running totals will also mean they are telling the country where those figures are coming from. And where those figures will have come from, there are people there, there are agents there, there are IEBC officials there who know what results came from there. But when you want to keep people in darkness, and then you pop up with some figures and announce it. And it is very curious, the time at which now Chebukati is now behaving like we are going for an election for the first time ever in the history of Kenya. We have done this before. In 2007, we had running totals. In 2013, we had running totals. And there is no good reason why we should not have it now. And more so, I have heard Ambrose saying that NASA will be popping up with figures that people can't tell where they have come from, that are showing them ahead all the time. These figures, we will show where they have come from. And there are people at the source who can corroborate that actually NASA has said that from Kiambu, they have got 2,000 votes. and we are here, they are 2,000.
Okay, I understand the concern and where you're saying there needs to be transparency, but what I do know is that the media will also report the results as they trickle in, so clearly there won't be any anxiety, would there?
But I also told you that be very careful. The media is going to be told you are not going to announce any results that have not been corroborated by IEBC.
Okay.
And this very IEBC is the one that have decided that are going to keep Kenyans in darkness until they want to give you the bombshell that the loser is now the winner.
Whether does it make sense? Does it ease in the pressure when you do know that the media will also report these results as they come in?
I'm telling you, this is where my worry is. You have had my brother here. Already they are only waiting for one result. The only result they'll say will be credible, free and fair is when they win. But if they lose, it will be in their characteristic over the years to deny and say there was rigging, as they have denied over the years.
Yeah.
So when IEBC goes to sleep, NASA and their surrogates will be feeding in their fake figures from the cloud. Now, the media houses definitely will be calling, because they'll have their people in the field.
We have our people all over.
In the field,
yes,
who will be saying now in Seme constituency, President Uhuru has 2,000, Raila has 30,000, and they'll also be having their inaccurate tallying centers. So there will be information. The only missing information there will be the official information. Now, that is the part that I would like my brother Chebukati and Chiloba to rethink and see that if they leave a gap, that gap will be filled by some people that have already declared that they are preparing their figures. So there must be official position each and every step, because even at the constituency stage, at the constituency level, they take figures from the wards.
Okay.
This ward now, so-and-so is leading, whether it's behind because it's Jubilee, so-and-so is ahead because it's NASA. But the figures must be there so that there's no lacuna. That part they need to think.
Okay.
Yes.
So allow me to bring in Joy Brenda. Joy, hi.
Hello.
It's been a while.
I know.
So we're talking about the IEBC making it clear that there will be no periodic announcement as it has always been. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's actually a very good idea.
Okay.
Yes, because in my opinion, part of the reason why we build this tension is because when the results are announced piecemeal, then you go to sleep one day and somebody has got 1 million votes. You wake up the next morning and the opponent has made the difference. Yeah. Something must have happened when you had closed your eyes. In my opinion, let the parties set up their own tallying centers wherever. You do your own totals, because what we are going to have is what is declared at the constituency can be what will enter in your book, and you can count on that to be what the IEBC will announce at the end. So there is no need for every hour through the night 3 commissioners to go stand there with a paper and tell you this is what we have so far. Your agents
because
can
the
do
results
that
announced at the constituency level are final.
Are the ones that are final anyway.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, there'll be a lot more going on. We'll be getting all the results for the MCAs, we'll be getting all the results for the MPs. It's not like there'll be total silence for 48 hours as we wait for the final tally. We'll be doing our own private tallying. So by the time the declaration is made by the IEBC, it will simply be confirming the totals that all of us will have.
What is concerning people is that there will be that silence, and then when they make that announcement, it will be the winner is.
It won't be silence, because all along you'll be hearing, we now have the results from X constituency, and in that constituency, this is the final result. Because the results will have been announced. So, what will not be done, they will not have been declared. The winner will not have been declared. That declaration is what they're waiting for the end. And I don't see where the prejudice is, because all along, you have 290 slots for each of the constituencies. As they come in, just keep filling them in and doing the totals yourself.
So the returning officers will, of course, make these announcements of the results at the constituency, and everyone is free to report on that. Does that ease in the anxiety that you have?
You see, unless we do not understand what you have reported here that Chiloba has said, that they will be quiet, and then they'll eventually say, President Uhuru Kenyatta is ahead, this number of millions. Honorable Raila Odinga this number of millions. We are either going for a runoff or it's a clear victory.
Okay.
Just like that. What Kenyans are envisaging is that when the returning officer in Kuisero constituency announces the final results, then he sent them over. And then he's saying, Kuisero, President Uhuru got this much, Honorable Raila got this much, Ekuru Akot got this much. So the additions carry on, go on. If that is the case, then it is not what they have said they'll be
Okay,
quiet.
so let me make a clarification.
Yes.
So
Yes.
the IEBC says they will relay the results in a portal.
Yes.
And on screens at the Bomas. They will not make the announcements, but the numbers will be on a screen. Yeah.
Now,
Let me finish. Okay.
Clear this again.
Okay,
When
can I
it is
finish?
there on the screen,
Yeah.
when it's there on the screen,
Yeah.
that screen will not be televised to Kenyans, or it will be?
Media houses are allowed to take the screenshots and show you.
What was this announcement about?
Yeah. So
Then where's the problem?
okay, wait, let me clear this. So
Yes.
the IBC says they will relay the results in a portal and on screens at the Bomas as they receive them from polling stations. What will be missing are the traditional TV announcements that you used to.
Correct.
Yeah.
I understand.
Since the results will have been declared at the constituency level. So the IBC chair is only allowed to declare the final results in accordance with the receipt ruling. So that is fine.
Now, that one, if that's what they're going to do, that is in compliance with the court decision.
Covens.
Linda, I think Chebukati came out to correct the mistake that his CEO made the day before.
Ezra Chiloba.
Yes. The day before, he was making it clear to us that we will remain in darkness until the time that he pops up.
And I think that is where the confusion is coming
so I
in.
think,
What Chiloba said and what
Chiloma came
Chebukati said.
to clear the air and correct those mistakes. And I think he listened to me. I was right here.
Yeah, probably he watched State of the Race.
I think then what he's saying, what would be the correct position, is that they will be receiving the results from the polling, from the constituencies. They will receive them as they are. Whether they are correct or wrong, they will not pronounce themselves on it.
Yeah.
Because the court had said that is the final center.
The
And
results
if you have a
announced,
problem with it, Supreme Court. Then they will add those figures from the 290 constituencies. Then the math they will get, the sum, is what they'll pronounce themselves on.
Okay.
If NASA is unhappy about that, then it is too bad they go to the Supreme Court.
But I think to be cheeky about it, I think IEBC just went back and told Jubilee it is impossible to convince the nation that we should not announce anything until the last minute.
NASA have actually reacted to that.
It's the reaction of the
before
public.
we take a look at that reaction from NASA, there's a presser that has been signed by James Orengo, of course, the NASA National Coordinating Committee. It will be very interesting to hear what he has to say about this. You're watching State of the Race. Thank you for staying with us. Allow me to take a short break.